Hello, welcome to Citizen Senior, CSEN.
Citizen Senior, CSEN, The Road to Hope, ADHD Podcast News.
A senior eye on ADHD research, medicine, coaching, and treatment news for men and women.
Photo by Jonathan Velasquez on Unsplash. Graphics, music, and video by Small Bears and Company, copyright 2025. All the ADHD that's fit to print.
We're doing a podcast.
What season? Is it something you sprinkle on something before you cook it?
No, honey, that's seasoning. CSEN is Citizen Senior. We're talking about things important to seniors.
Did we time travel back to high school?
Well, some people never left. But no, one of the things I'm interested in is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, in women and men who are older adults.
You mean, Dad, what's older than an adult?
Not funny. Hi, my name is Margaret, and I found out at age 70 that I have ADHD. When treatment for other things didn't help my attention problems and tendency to have wandering thoughts and difficulty in focusing on what I knew were important things in my life, I knew I had ADHD. ADHD is identified more frequently in males than females according to the NeuroHealth Alliance by a ratio of 4-1. An estimated 7 million U.S. children aged 3 to 17 years have been diagnosed with ADHD, according to the National Survey of Parents using data from 2022. An estimated 8.7 million adults in the U.S. have ADHD. An estimated 35% to 78% of children diagnosed with ADHD maintain symptoms as an adult.
Photo by ConvertKit on Unsplash. My name is Steve, and I found out that my wife has ADHD after she turned 70. As a 73-year-old retired Navy nurse, I discovered we both had much to learn. But because I loved Margaret, and I've been a lifelong learner to begin with, the task was right up my alley. Yeah, I'm a fathead. There have been many advances in medical technology, treatment, science, and research. These new methods provide reasonable hope for those in need. Isolation and loneliness are the last things you want to do or not do if you have ADHD. Your family members may also share the same issue as you do with ADHD, and it may be a genetic trait. I've been retired before Margaret, and I have some knowledge of many areas of healthcare. Having a support person if you have ADHD is an important advantage to share with a loved one. Margaret is very funny and humorous. Photo by ConvertKit on Unsplash.
Podcast planning process. Form, progress, podcast structure. We need your viewership, criticism, and support. Please donate to Small Bears and Company today.
Identify what's interesting to you. Our news, focus, and interview content explore a missing link in services to adults with ADHD.
Identify leaders in all areas. You're alive. We want to expose you to the wonders of life, beauty, and reasons to get out there and live.
Get and incorporate your feedback. Gordon Sullivan, retired general, once said, "Hope is not a method. You're part of our method. Your feedback is important. Our suggestions are researched and reasonable. Tell us when we're wrong. Show us a better way." Photo by Neil Godding on Unsplash.
Trending topics. Are drugs the only method of treating ADHD successfully? Why are women's symptoms in ADHD so different from men? Is ADHD a lifelong disease?
Example 1. Area of brain responsible for readiness to learn identified.
What's scientific evidence for meditation being beneficial for ADHD?
Why do I react so strongly to criticism?
Does menopause make ADHD worse?
Why are reasons so difficult for me? Is there hope? Photo by Soundtrap on Unsplash.
We will explore each of these topics and more in future episodes. This is a great time to be alive, and if you have ADHD, because scientists all over the world are learning more and more about how brains work, both neurotypical and neurodivergent brains. Additionally, pharmaceutical companies are always on the alert for more effective drug treatments.
If you're new to the terminology and lingo of medicine, science, and research, we're here to help you better understand what the literature and researchers are up to. For example, at the end of today's session, we will introduce you to one of the key clinicians in understanding women and ADHD.
Women experience different symptoms than men because instead of acting out, we tend to internalize problems associated with ADHD. For example, I can tell you firsthand about rejection sensitivity disorder. I've been trying to please people all of my life and worrying about it if people don't like me.
Anne Trafton at the MIT News Office. Brain scans differentiate adults who have experienced and recovered from childhood ADHD.
Adults who no longer have ADHD show synchronous activity between the posterior cingulate cortex and the medial prefrontal cortex.
About 10 million American adults are currently diagnosed with ADHD.
The psychiatric guidelines for whether a person's ADHD is persistent or remitted are based on lots of clinical studies and impressions. This new study suggests that there is a real biological boundary between those two sets of patients, says MIT's John Gabrielli.
Resting state MRI.
When a person isn't engaged in any particular action, interacting parts of the brain reveal which parts are communicating. Reports do not indicate when, in adulthood, this is measurable.
MIT's McGovern Institute for Brain Research.
Susan Whitfield Gabrielli, a research scientist at the McGovern Institute, says perhaps up to 40% of patients do not respond well to drug treatment.
Photo by Jonathan Farber on Unsplash. On screen, you see Elfie, our little mascot. And so if you were using this as a PowerPoint slide, you could click on Elfie, the little elf owl, and you would find clickable things on the PowerPoint slide. Here, you will find a larger picture of the neurodivergent ADHD brain on the right, and its change with age for some people in the lower left, where the prefrontal cortex is activated.
How different layers interact, an ADHD clue.
MIT neuroscientists have found that the anatomical layers of the mammalian brain contained distinct patterns of electrical activity which are consistent throughout the entire cortex and across several animal species, including humans.
Imbalances in how these oscillations interact with each other may be involved in brain disorders such as attention deficit. The researchers say
different pathologies of synchrony may contribute to many brain disorders, including disorders of perception, attention, memory, and motor control.
Across mammalian species, brain waves are slower in deep cortical layers, while superficial layers generate faster rhythms. Photo by Christina Murillo from Pexels.
The newer forms of EEG are called MEG or MEG or magnetic EEG, where magnetic pulses from an external source are used to influence various brain areas.
This may become more standardized and more effective in the future, but it is available now in non-standardized and possibly not approved insurance methodology for some insurers.
Thank you.
Brain has been both myself and my enemy. I felt horrible that I couldn't focus my attention on things like other people. My family didn't understand. What's interesting is that ADHD is very probably genetic. How have generations of people managed to survive, and how has it affected their relationships?
Make comments below. We'd love to hear from you.
I'm still here, Steve.
Well, I'm still here, Margaret. Bye.
Bye.